Hello and welcome to Global Outlook. I'm Mary Sitt. Today we're coming to you from our homes, so we're all staying in place during this pandemic. You know, back in March, colleges had to pivot quickly nationwide as businesses shut down and people were ordered to stay at home. Our next guest is a professor of economics who used crowdsourcing to create a tool that helped faculty become better online teachers. Professor Richard Gosselin has been teaching for 30 years. He's currently a professor of economics at Northwest College at HCC. He's also the founding president and a current board member of the National Economics Teaching Association. Thanks for being with us, Professor.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about this faculty lounge you created. What is it and how does it work?
Right before the crisis began, I had a visit with our senior web developer at Central College, Ruben Duran. And I had an epiphany at this meeting whereby we could probably create some kind of virtual room where faculty members could just get together and talk about strategies for online teaching. So it was really a very humble beginning. We only had maybe a couple of dozen faculty members that joined us.
And did you have this idea before the pandemic started? I mean, before everything got crazy?
Right. It was kind of a few days before the college, made the announcement that we were going to officially, not be returning to campus. That announcement had not yet been made, but we can kind of see the writing on the wall that things were about ready to go south. And so we wanted to prepare just in case the college made that decision, because it was hard to know at the time whether the college was going to make that decision. And we just said, well, we need to at least be prepared virtually, to talk and to visit with each other. And we thought that Kaltura live meeting rooms inside Canvas would satisfy that need.
So how does it work? Does people go into this website, basically, sort of, right? A page, and then there are seminars that are being offered?
Yeah, so the way it worked is we sent out email invitations to people that wanted to join the room. And in the beginning, like I said, there was sort of a lackluster response. We didn't get really that many because we were moving into spring break. Which is understandable. Faculty members were off. But towards the end of spring break, then all of a sudden some faculty members started joining, and then we were populating their names into the Canvas lounge, the faculty video lounge inside of a Canvas course shell. And before we knew it, we had 150 people that first week, and then after a few weeks, it ballooned over 900.
Wow.
Now, not all of which are active members, but they all joined, so there's probably maybe 250 to 300 who actively participate on a regular basis.
And Professor Gosselin, people would join as a student trying to learn a certain skill or technique, and others would join as faculty. They had that skill and they were volunteering to teach that in a live webinar. Is that right?
What I did was I sort of cast this wide net to try to look for people who were Canvas power users. In fact, that's what I called them. I said, you know who you are. I said, come on, volunteer and help us out to be a trainer. I was really impressed by how many people volunteered. In fact, there were so many volunteers, it was difficult to handle it all. So we had, I think in the high point, about 41 volunteers, not all of whom were participating at the same time. And then the rest, have student roles. That's absolutely correct.
So they learned everything from how to make better PowerPoints, how to manage your emails. Can you tell me about some of the most popular courses?
The Kaltura Live Room courses were pretty popular, and obviously creating video was, because many faculty members hadn't had any experience in producing video, desktop videos, right? That are just capturing screen activity. PowerPoint demonstrations, those were on the top of the list. And then, of course, I think the other one was quizzing, creating quizzes online, and also exam security. That was a big concern for a lot of faculty members.
So what did you tell them?
It turns out that the college already had software in place that we've been using for a number of years, but not all faculty members were trained in its use. It's called Respondus Lockdown Browser with webcam and monitor, and it monitors student activity during an exam. Now, it turned out that we had to dispense with the use of it because of the fact that a lot of students didn't have the right technology on their end, and we didn't want to overburden them with that. So we started to talk about lower tech alternatives to this kind of sophisticated software. because we didn't want to raise the stress level of the students. So there was a lot of dynamic conversations taking place about these issues.
What are the main challenges for faculty teaching online, from the faculty person's point of view?
Sure, I think the biggest challenge is just that human factor, the human warmth of being in the classroom, to be able to actually visit with the students, for the students to see them, for the faculty members to see their student faces, which you would think wouldn't really be that big of a deal, but actually that element is really important. And a lot of our students actually responded in surveys that they really appreciated the faculty members that had that actual presence live in a synchronous manner. And we understood some students were not going to be able to join, either because of work or other issues that were taking place because of the pandemic. But we wanted to make sure that that was a possibility and that they had the opportunity to join up with their faculty members at a particular time.
Have you gotten into this online teaching and this because of your work with your association? Is that why that spurred your interest in it?
Actually, even long before then, I had been with distance learning way back in the days when we had videotapes. We even had print-based distance learning, yeah. When we had that, we had some other sites on Dunleavy when we had the College Without Walls. So I remember in the early startup with online, we had modems where students were calling in on their phones, connecting up their computers via a modem. And it was more of a bulletin board system. So I've kind of almost seen the full transition, from the horse and buggy era to more of the Lexus that we have today, type of technology that we have to offer students.
I was looking at some of the different courses. One of them I loved. It says students stop paying attention to videos after about 5 minutes. I mean, they said it nicer, but basically don't go longer than 5 minutes. And then another tutorial thing says something like, think about your goals of teaching and keep it simple. Because I think a lot of professors may have like a syllabus and they have all these things they want to achieve. Now it's suddenly online. So how do you convey that to the new faculty members who are learning how to teach online?
Yeah, and I think we've been having some robust conversation about that. And I think a lot more faculty members are converting over to that idea. They're buying into the idea that they have to simplify. And that doesn't make it simplistic. It just means make it easier for students to access.
It's the same.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And nothing to do with that, but more like making it more accessible and more friendly for students, so that it's not so intimidating. So you hit the nail right on the head about the short videos. And that's not just true about students' attention span. It's true about all of us, actually. Right. I mean, how many of us will watch an 80-minute video on YouTube? I think almost nobody watches.
No, we'll watch about 1.5 minutes max.
That's exactly right. If you think about TED Talks, that's kind of the way to think about it. TED Talks are usually short, 10 or 15 minutes, and that's about it.
And they will watch all of this interview, though, right, Professor?
Hopefully.
Keeping it short. Yeah. So what's the best thing you've gotten out for yourself personally from creating this whole virtual lobby?
Just learning new things from other faculty members and some of the creative ideas and methods that they've used. I've been particularly impressed by the workforce faculty, because they've had a very significant challenge not being able to operate their equipment that they're used to. And so we had a lot of innovative ideas. I remember one of them was Walter Adams, who was in industrial electricity, who had some equipment that he actually got at Home Depot for demonstrating the use of a circuit board. And I thought, this is just really brilliant. This is a guy that's literally thinking outside the box.
Wow.
So there were lots of really wonderful ideas, photo galleries, video galleries, and also very engaging assignments.
So people can keep tuning in and finding out more and more new things all the time. Thank you so much for being with us, Professor Gosselin, and good luck to you.
You bet. Thanks for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Coming up next, we'll meet an international student from Brazil who changed career choices and found success at HCC. We'll explain when we come back. Our next guest is from Rio de Janeiro, Caio Aragon, studying photography here at HCC. Last year, he won the award for Filmmaking Student of the Year. Thank you so much for being with us, Caio.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, let's start. How did you come to the United States in the first place? How did you get here?
So I moved here in 2014. My father got a job opportunity, so I came along with him together with my family. Unfortunately, Brazil went through an economic crisis in 2014 to 15, so he needed to go back. And we thought it would be better for me to stay here and try the future here, because the quality of life and everything that we have here, like structure, it's better than Brazil. It's I believe that Brazil is a great country to visit. It's a tourist place, but it's a really complicated place to live. We work hard, and it's so hard to achieve things over there. So
were you by yourself after that when your dad left, or your rest of your family?
Yes, everybody left,
and I stayed. Yourself in a foreign country, and you knew English somewhat, but still, it's a foreign country, right? Yeah. And you were studying business because your parents wanted you to do business, or you sort of thought you liked that?
Yes, my father was always with this mentality, like, we need to have a stable job. We need to do like engineering, business, which, I agree at some points, but that was not my thing. Even though I got like straight A's in business, I took all the classes, I graduated with a great GPA, I was not satisfied with my career. So it was time to actually go to university or to do something like that. And I had a conversation.
You were going to another college, another community college.
Yes. I graduated with an associate's degree, and it was time technically to go to university, but it's so expensive, especially for international students. So, and my mom she always enjoyed arts, she graduated in arts, and she was like, I think you should do what you like to do. And that was a question that has been always in my mind. I love photography, I love filmmaking. And she kind of pushed me towards this, like, if that's what you like, you should do it, because when you
followed your passion.
Yes.
Right? And you went to HCC to do that. And what did you find at HCC? How did that help you discover your talents?
So I was actually looking for different university and college were so expensive. And and someone mentioned to me, I met her in an internship that I was doing. She was, HCC has filmmaking. I was like, really? So I went to the website and I checked it out, and I actually saw the video, and I saw they have like a green screen, like a lot of cameras and materials and gears. And I got really excited. So I decided to go visit, and I saw all that things. I was like, oh my God. and I went to another university. I'm not going to mention the name, but I went there, and it was so expensive. And I also found out that they don't let the students rent the gear until they are seniors, and HCC, they let you have the gear in the first semester. And I think that's how you learn. So pretty much HCC, I was going to pay less, and I was going to have access to more things like gear, lights, and, and I think that's how that's what you need in order to learn.
So you had hands-on experience, you had the equipment you needed right away from day one, you turn those buttons on, etc., and just go out and start making videos, correct?
Yes. My first class is in cinematography, and at first I wanted to try out and see if that was really what I want, because sometimes you have the desire, no, I want to learn photography, but is that what I want? So that's what I did, and I'm glad I did, because I really enjoyed my first classes. I was like, okay, that's definitely what I want to do for my life.
And you won an award,
yeah.
Filmmaker of the Year. Congratulations, that's wonderful. What did you make to win that award?
So I worked really hard in a lot of projects with different students, and that's something that some people don't realize, that because they think just because it's a student project, you don't need to put too much effort, and that's what they are wrong. I said, no, this is a student project. This is going to go to our portfolio, so we need to do our best. And that's what happened. I joined the people that I saw that were really interested in filmmaking, that really wanted to do something different and creative and work hard for it. And then we went all together and we created amazing videos. My professor said I was the best student project that he ever seen in a few years. So we were really excited about that. And that's how I outstand with the other students, because I did my own projects, which were pretty good, straight A's. And I think that made me be outstanding towards all the students. And I was so excited, because I said, this is my passion. That's what I like to do. And all my hard work is paying off already.
And now you're getting your third certificate in photography. Yes. So that's very, very much a solo endeavor, whereas filmmaking is more of a crew. You work together. How are you liking photography?
I really enjoy it. I learned a little bit of photography on my own. Like I watched tutorials and things before I actually jump into filmmaking, because a lot of things I use in photography you're gonna need in filmmaking, like composition and some technical things from camera, like ISO, exposure, and shutter speed. Those things you kind of need to learn for photography too. So, but I'm doing pretty good. I really enjoy the classes, and one of the reasons why I decided to go back to school so I could, keep working at HCCTV, because since I'm an international student, I need to be studying at HCC to keep my job, and I love working at HCCTV. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it.
You don't want to quit. You want to be hired on full time, right?
No, he's like, no, I want to stay here. So
I love your advice that you told me earlier about what you would tell other international students. What is that?
And the first month is really tough because you're away from home, you're away from your friends, sometimes for family. A lot of international students, they come without their parents, and it's tough. The first 3-4 months is really hard to get, adapted to everything that's so new. But once you get used to it and you start joining clubs, making new friends, going to class, things are gonna start to straight up. And once you're comfortable, you're gonna see that that's the best choice you made. Especially because if you're here, there are certificate from Houston Community College or at the USA, it's something different from your own country. Not counting the possibilities that we have here for jobs and things that, eventually you can get. So I think
your advice you told me earlier was be patient.
Be patient, exactly.
Be patient. Well, I wish you the very best of luck. You seem like a very driven student. I think we're going to start seeing this famous Brazilian director in about maybe 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Thank you Thank you very much for coming on the show. It's appreciated.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Coming up next, some smart financial moves to make during these very uncertain times. We'll have some important advice for you right after this.
Meet Saskia. She loves cars. Seriously, she whistles at them. So she's studying engineering at Houston Community College. After that, a 4-year degree. Then it's off to the races. HCC, for everyone, anytime.
In these times, we are all doing our share to battle the virus.
We view an attack against any faith or any ethnic group as an attack against all of us.
We're all in this together.
Many of us are immigrants. The virus affects all nationalities.
We work together.
We're all in this together.
We are all Texans.
Meet Ekaterina. She has lofty goals to learn English and accounting. So she's studying for 2 degrees at Houston Community College, which means she's going all the way to the top. HCC, for everyone, anytime.
Millions of people have lost their jobs during this pandemic, and probably millions more are wondering if they're going to be able to keep their job. You may be wondering what financial steps you should be taking right now. What's smart to do? Well, here to give us some tips is Michelle Gessner, a certified financial planner and the founder and owner of Gessner Wealth Strategies. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Michelle, people are sort of panicking. They may be looking at their stock market, their portfolios, wondering their savings, going, now what do I do? Where should I put my money? What's safe? What should they be doing?
We've always counseled people to keep at least 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund for times like these or just things that crop up. And so if you have 6 months of living expenses, great. If you don't have 6 months of living expenses and you still have your job, you probably should cut back and start saving and saving and saving and cut back on things that you don't really need. Everybody has discretionary spending. It's time to get rid of that and just make sure you have a cushion of emergency cash. Another thing that can be done, if you're a homeowner and you have equity in your house, you should have a home equity line of credit. People don't understand that a HELOC or a home equity line of credit is different than a home equity loan. This is a line of credit, so it acts like a credit card. There are no closing costs to get one, but you have to have good credit and you have to have a job and be at that job for at least 2 years. You can have this as another emergency cash cushion, but if you lose your job and then think you're going to go get one, the banks won't lend that to you. So you want to have, it's like you want to get a loan when you don't need one. And this is a line of credit and acts like a credit card.
Well, what's the interest rate on average of that kind of thing?
That's the beautiful thing. A home equity line of credit, because it's a secured loan, it has a low interest rate. So interest rates are really low. You can check the different banks, but 4% is probably going to be very easily obtained. And sometimes some of them may have gone down. So that's something you can do as a proactive measure. I tell my clients to have that anyway.
What about, can you tap into your 401k too without penalty during this time?
Yes, you absolutely can. The CARES Act that was passed recently says that you can tap into your 401k or your IRA, and you can withdraw up to $100,000, and there will be no 10% tax penalty, even if you're under 59 and a half. Now, the catch is you have to have been affected by COVID-19, and what they define that as, you have to either have been furloughed or lost your job, or you're caring for someone, a dependent, your spouse, someone who's been stricken with COVID-19, or you yourself. If none of those circumstances apply to you, then the old rules apply.
Is it all doom and gloom, Michelle? Because I know that on your blog, you've written about a silver lining. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so if you have cash and you have more cash, maybe you've been sitting on the sidelines with some cash, waiting for the market to drop, or you just had too much saved in the first place. This is a great time to invest some of that excess cash into the market, because the market has declined and stocks are, for lack of a better way to describe it, stocks are on sale. So this is a great time to invest in the market, but not if you're trying to take advantage of the opportunity. That's great, but what I don't want to see happen is you take all of your excess cash and now you don't have an emergency fund. So you want to strike a proper balance.
So have that emergency fund first and then invest in the market because everything's on sale.
Correct.
But you can't really time the market. You can't say, well, I'm interested in this, but I'm going to wait a little bit until it goes lower. I mean, no one can really time the market, correct?
That is correct. So every bit of research out there on market timing has proven that market timing does not work. The research is there to back that up. So you don't want to be a market timer, but you can certainly invest in the market. Now, I want to caution you, I already said, you want to have enough emergency cash so you're not in a position where you have nothing in case something unforeseen occurs. Also, you want to make sure that you're invested in a proper allocation. So, if you don't need that money right away, if this is long-term money that you don't really need, long-term meaning more than 5 years, more than 10 years, then you can be in an all equity allocation. So you'll want to talk to a professional, make sure that you're not investing in the wrong allocation for your time horizon and risk tolerance.
With the passage of the $1 trillion relief bill, do you think future taxes will go up?
We've been preaching that taxes are going to go up long before this happened, long before COVID-19. If you go to usdebtclock.org, you will see the United States is in $25 trillion of debt. And it just went up because of the CARES Act. Mm-hmm. So somebody has to pay for that. So yes, we think taxes were going up prior to the CARES Act, but now with the additional $2 trillion of spending that the government has had to do to help folks with COVID-19 related issues, we just think it's a given. Yes, taxes are going to rise. We think it's inevitable. We don't know exactly when, but I can tell you that current tax laws in place right now are scheduled to sunset in the year 2026. So even if Congress does not step in and do something different, they're going to revert back to 2017 levels, which is in effect a tax increase. And then what happens?
How much of an increase is that, Michelle, the 2017 level versus now?
Well, the top tax bracket in 2017 was 39.6, and now it's 37. So every bracket will go back up.
Okay, so that means, when I'm 75 years old, I'm ready to I'm going to take that money out of that 401k I had saved up. Suddenly I'm going to be taxed on it a lot more than I thought way back when I was putting the savings in, correct? What can we do to keep that from happening? There's something called a conversion.
Yeah, so one of the strategies that we've been preaching that is appropriate for a lot of folks who think that taxes will go up, and of course I'm one of those people that believes that they will, is a Roth conversion. And a Roth conversion has no restrictions. They used to have restrictions, but not anymore. So I guess I do want to add, the only restriction if you do a Roth conversion, which I'll define in just a minute, is that you have to have the money to pay taxes. So what is a Roth conversion? That's volunteering to pay the taxes on your IRA money or your 401k money that has never been taxed, to pay the taxes now so that that money can be forever tax-free and grow tax-free when later, when you're going to use that money, perhaps tax rates will have gone up, but you already paid the taxes at a lower rate. So we like to say taxes are on sale because we are in a historically low tax rate environment. If you look at past history, and then as I said a minute ago, we think taxes are going to go up. So if you have the cash to pay for the taxes that will come due, a Roth conversion is a wonderful strategy.
Or if you're young enough, just start a Roth. You don't have to convert, right? Just start a Roth, but there's a ceiling of income. You can't make more than how much money. Like Bill Gates could not start a Roth, but what's the income limit?
Yeah. So there is an income restriction. If you want to participate in a Roth IRA, you cannot make more than a certain amount of money. It changes every year for singles versus married couples, and it's your adjusted gross income. I don't have it memorized, but it's like 127, I think. I have to look it up for a single. And then 189,000, I think, is what it is this year. Don't quote me on that because again, they change so often. I don't memorize it. I look it up. But that is combined adjusted gross income for a married couple or a single. If your income is higher than that, you can do some of a Roth contribution, but it's phased out.
And it's actually great because, and they tell you, you have a maximum of how much you contribute per year. But then once you put that money in there, you're putting money that's been taxed already. Then you never have to worry about taxes when you do take it out. Correct?
That's right, which is even more important because of the Secure Act that was passed in December, which affects inherited IRAs, and they've gotten rid of the stretch. So your heirs, your family who may inherit this money, they won't have to pay taxes on it either. So it's not just your lifetime that will benefit. And I do want to add, a Roth IRA doesn't really have much of a contribution limit. So for people over 50, it's 7,000, and for people younger, it's younger than 50, it's only 6,000. So that's not a very large contribution. But if you have a Roth 401k at work, then you have the same limit that you have with a regular 401k, which for over 50 is 26 or 27,000. Again, I don't memorize these things. It's 19,500 for people under 50. So that'll get you a little further if you have the ability to save that much.
Michelle, we can find out more information on your website. Tell me the name of it.
So I've written some blog articles with a lot more detail on these topics, and you can read those. Just go to our website, GessnerWealthStrategies.com, and at the very top, you'll see the hyperlink for blog, and you can read all about some of these things.
And you've also taught some excellent seminars at HCC in the evenings. I've gone to one of them. Two-night seminars are great with workbooks, and they're free, and it's really educational, describing how you can do what you can do with your money during retirement and how to balance your portfolio and all those good topics, right?
Yes, and if you want to go to a seminar, I mean, we can't do live seminars right now for obvious reasons, and so we've kind of put those on hold. But we are doing those types of seminars free as webcasts. So we've got some of those. If you're interested in having one of those classes in the comfort of your own home, visit our website. We'll give you all the details.
Michelle, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mary.
That's all for this edition of Global Outlook. You can catch us every Friday and Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and p.m. plus Saturday at 10 a.m. Or go to our website at hccs.edu/podcast and download the podcast to go. Or watch the full video version on HCC's YouTube channel. I'm Mary Sitt. Thanks for watching.